Hello and welcome back once again to the Wrestling Rant. Monday Night Raw from August 18th, 2014 from Las Vegas, Nevada, the night after Summerslam. Fucking shit. I'd have to say Raw pretty much sucked again. We of course start with a picture recap of SummerSlam. And cutting into the arena, Daniel Bryan's music hits. And I'm thinking, there's no way he's back, so what's the swerve here? And I don't even think the crowd reacted to it really, because they were probably thinking like I was. They're thinking like, okay, he's not back. What the fuck is this? Sure enough, out comes Stephanie, wearing a red t-shirt that says Steph, 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 mocking the Daniel Bryan yes, yes, yes t-shirt. And of course she's doing the yes, the jumping up and down yes, yes motion. Fuck off, you bitch! Really tired of this crap. And it gets worse from here. Because not only does she use Bryan's music to come down and mock him, God, it gets worse. The bitch starts talking, running her dick licker once again. She talks... And she talks about, we're going to have the unveiling of the new title belt for Brock Lesnar later on. She plugs the fucking network. Of course. We get plenty more plugs for it tonight. And then she gets to talking about Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella. And... she introduces Nikki Bella, who comes out to no reaction, of course. And Nikki even hugs Stephanie in the ring. And Stephanie lets Nikki talk, and Nikki talks about how Brie has always mistreated her as a sister, and boo-hoo, and where's that tiny violin I need to grab? Where the fuck is it? I was gonna play it all sarcastically, and, yeah, you get the drift. Bitch, you can cry all you want. You make a shitload of money. Oh, my sister's always been... she's always mistreated me. Again, fuck off. This sibling rivalry means absolutely dick to me, and it seemed like everybody in the fucking arena tonight. Nikki and Stephanie are kind of going back and forth, shitting all over Brie, and finally Brie comes out. She doesn't even get music. She just comes out, and she gets in the ring, and she goes up to Nikki, and she's talking to her. She doesn't actually have a mic, but Nikki has her mic, and she kind of holds it in between the two of them so people can actually hear the shit. Yada, yada, yada. Brie says that she wants to forgive Nikki for what she did, and Nikki fucking slaps the shit out of Brie. And Nikki screams out, "I will never forgive you." And again, throughout this whole thing, Nikki's complete lack of acting ability just ruins this whole promo. And so after the slap, Brie leaves, and that's the end of the segment. And this shit took maybe 10 fucking minutes to get done. God, can we have something better to start the show? Does it always have to start with a boring fucking promo segment? This shit is really getting old. God damn. Anyways, since Stephanie announced it, we get some hype for the title presentation for Lesnar later on, the new championship belt. And then they announce that we're going to see a tag team match next up on the show, and that's going to be the Big Show and Mark Henry versus Harper and Rowan. I'm pretty sure this was a rematch from SmackDown last week. But yeah, that's supposed to be next, and they cut to a commercial. Coming back, we get a recap of what just happened. And we get the Wyatt cut, and the child choir, and the fucking hillbilly rock, and out come Harper and Rowan. And then the Big Show's music hits, and he comes out with Mark Henry. And while the two of them are coming out, the commentators make mention, oh yeah, we've got our German commentators here again. It's only two of them this time. But yeah. So we get the match between these two big hoss teams. The match was crap. It was basically just a squash for the most part. It took its sweet fucking time. The first half of the match, like I said, was basically a squash. Henry and Show beat the piss out of Rowan and Harper. And they cut to a commercial break. And after that, I didn't even really give a fuck about the match, so all I wrote down was the finish. Big Show, knockout punches, Harper, and then Rowan. And after the KO punch, Rowan stumbles back, turns around right into Henry, who lifts him up, hits the world's strongest slam for the 1-2-3. Match was over. It was crap. Let's move on. Commentators announce, and we get hype for a rematch from last night for the Intercontinental title. Yes, Dolph Ziggler, our new Intercontinental champion, is going to defend because The Miz asked for his rematch. That'll be later on. We also get hype for a 6-man tag team match. Roman Reigns, Rob Van Dam, and Sheamus versus Rybacksel and Randy Orton. And they also hyped up something between Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. I didn't quite catch it, but trust me, it comes back later. We'll figure it out. Another commercial break. Coming back from the break, there's Dolph Ziggler in the locker room. And he's talking with Ric Flair. Hey, there's something we've been wanting to see for a while. Up comes The Miz. Again wearing that weird coat thing that he was wearing at the pay-per-view last night. And his shades. And I saw this picture on Facebook earlier today. Somebody compared it to the stuff that Piccolo would wear from Dragon Ball Z. Miz just didn't have the turban thing up top. So, yeah, actually looking at it, it looked pretty close. The only thing Miz's was missing was the shoulder pads. So anyways, Miz talks a lot of smack. And he talks about being an A-lister and yada yada. And we end the segment by Ziggler saying, you're not an A-lister, Miz. You're just an A-hole. Yeah, okay, so, yeah. Oh, right. And as soon as Ziggler said that, Flair followed up with a woo! And that's the end of the fucking segment. A-hole. I really hate this PG garbage. Can somebody just call somebody an asshole? I want to hear it. I don't care if it gets censored out. Just call him an asshole. You are a cock-sucking motherfucking asshole. I want to hear that. Somebody say it. Sick of this PG garbage. Just fuck the kids. I don't give a fuck about kids anymore. They're the reason why this product sucks. Oh, we gotta make it PG. We gotta water everything down. Fuck off. Anyways, we get a picture recap from the Lumberjack match between Rollins and Ambrose. And after that, we cut backstage to the interview area. There's Renee Young, who's with Seth Rollins. And Rollins starts cutting a promo. I don't remember or give a fuck what he said. What's important is the fucking hilarious thing that this led to. Rollins is cutting his promo, and all of a sudden, you just see this bucket come up over top of him and dump a shitload of ice water all over him, and he's like, oh god, that's fucking cold. He turns around, and there's Ambrose. Now, I have to explain this for those who may not know. The Ice Bucket Challenge is something that's been going around, I guess, on the internet. It's basically to raise awareness for, oh fuck, what was it? Lou Gehrig's disease, I think? Or something like that? I don't know. Some kind of really nasty condition that people can end up with. But yeah, it's to raise awareness for this. Now, the way it's supposed to work is if you're challenged to do this, you can either donate $100 to the foundation, which is doing the research to help cure it, or you can you can just douse yourself in a bucket of ice water and only have to donate $10. I think that's how it's supposed to work. And so this has been going around the internet, and if you're challenged to it and you do it, you can then challenge 3 other people to do it, basically. So yeah. I don't know who challenged Rollins to do it. I guess I thought it was hilarious because they took something that was going around and they're just like, fuck it, it's in Ambrose's character, he'll do it. He just douses Seth in this ice water. Seth turns around, he's like shivering from the cold. He looks at Ambrose and Ambrose goes, what? It's for charity. And he smacks Rollins in the face with the bucket and then just starts punching the fuck out of him. And he tackles him to the ground and starts beating the shit out of him. Beats the fucking shit out of him, and up come a bunch of road agents, backstage hands, and whatever, and they fucking separate them like always. And then we cut to another commercial. Coming back, we get a recap of what just happened. And we cut to the office where there's Triple H and Kane talking about something. Up comes Rollins bitching his stupid little head off. And he's like, did you see what happened? You got it. And Triple H is like, okay, fine. We're going to give you a match with Ambrose later tonight. And we're going to finish this. And we'll do you one better. We will let the WWE Universe pick the special stipulation for the match. So, yeah, we're getting another app vote. Moving on. Cutting back to the ring, there's Natalya already in the ring. She gets jobber entranced. And then Paige's music hits, and she comes out, skipping with the Divas title, yada yada. While she's coming out, we get another picture recap from the title match from SummerSlam, Paige and AJ. Paige gets a mic, and she says that she respects and loves AJ despite what happened at the match last night, and she's dedicating this match to AJ. And so we get a match between the two. And the match was crap, because basically all it did is feed into the storyline. Paige gets on top of Natalya and does the sexy mounting thing, and then like repeating headbutt shots from the looks of it. And shortly after that, AJ's music hits. And she comes out skipping. And she skips around the ring. And Paige, of course, is distracted. Natalya gets a cheap roll-up, 1, 2, 3. Natalya wins, and she gets the fuck out of there. AJ's got a mic, and she starts talking, and she says that she respects and loves Paige, and that she wants to dedicate her life to Paige, and that she also wants a handshake. And so she starts to go towards getting into the ring, and Paige is in the ring with the Divas title, and she bails, she jumps out of the ring, she's like, hell no. And then the crowd starts chanting CM Punk. Yeah. Okay, end of that segment. The commentators say, it was Michael Cole, he goes, I've just been informed, we finally know what the stipulations are going to be that we can vote for the Ambrose and Rollins match. And so they bring up the graphic. We can pick between a no-holds-barred match, a falls count anywhere match, or a no disqualification match. And I'm thinking, what's the fucking difference? There ain't one. The only difference is falls count anywhere. In which case, it's still no disqualification. I don't know if it's no holds barred, but then again, the WWE doesn't seem to know what a fucking no holds barred match is anyways. But the only difference is with a falls count anywhere match, falls can count anywhere. I guess in a no DQ match, that's basically like a street fight, right? You have to win in the ring, and then no holds barred, yeah, that's in the ring too. You gotta beat him in the ring. So those are our three stipulations. There's no fucking difference between them, so it doesn't matter what you vote for. Moving on, we get more hype for the title presentation with Lesnar, and that's going to be next, and we cut to another commercial break. Coming back from the break, the King of Kings music hits, and out comes Triple H and Stephanie. And they come out, no reaction by the way, and they stand, there's a stand in the ring. It looks more like a bench. Not a bench, but like it has the metal cross legs with a little, padded wooden seat on top of it, and that's where the belt is resting. And it's, of course, covered by a velvet cloth or whatever the fuck. Whatever. Triple H and Steph run their dick lickers, and then they finally get around to revealing the belt. And just like I said a couple videos ago, the new belt looks pretty much identical to the belt that we already had, the WWE title belt, except they've replaced the old WWE, the scratch logo, with the new network logo, and they replaced the big champion on the bottom, and if you look really close and squint, you can just barely make out World Heavyweight Champion along the bottom edge in the gold lining on the belt, or on the big medallion, I should say. You can just barely make it out if you squint, but it says World Heavyweight Champion. And then, of course, it still has the same goofy shit with the side plates, with the interchangeable superstar logos. And since Brock's the champion, they've got the big skull, the tattoo that he has on his back, the skull thing. Yeah. Fucking retards. Belt still looks like shit, moving on. Triple H introduces Brock, who comes out with Heyman, and Brock and Triple H shake hands, blah-de-blah-de-blah-de. Triple H hands the belt over to Brock, and the four of them, Stephanie, Triple H, Brock, and Heyman, all pose for the ringside photographers to take pictures, as well as presenting the belt to each of the four sides of the ring so all of the fans, I guess, can take pictures too. After that, Triple H and Stephanie leave, and Heyman starts running his mouth, going through his usual shit. And then he mentions some secret that he doesn't even think that Triple H and Stephanie want them to spill, and that's that John Cena isn't here tonight, because, he's hurt. Yada, yada, yada. Heyman brings up The Rock and Austin. He was talking about a historical perspective. Let's look at The Rock's legendary reign on top of the company, which was maybe 3.5 years. Stone Cold Steve Austin, which was maybe 4 or 5 years, something like that. And he's comparing them to Cena, who's been the top dog for the last 10 fucking years. And then Heyman actually gives credit to Cena. He says, you know what? I never really understood why anybody likes John Cena. But after last night, I finally get it. Even though Brock was beating the ever-loving shit out of him, and he just kept beating him up and beating him up and beating him up, Cena never gave up. He never gave up. That's why people like him. Yada, yada, yada. Heyman brings up The Undertaker, plugs the fucking network, and then he keeps going on and on about this eat, sleep, repeat shtick that Brock has. Eat, sleep, suplex, repeat. Suplex, repeat. And he says it probably about 16 fucking times, one for every damn suplex last night. Finally, the goddamn boring-ass promo ends and we move on. We get a recap of the shit with the Bellas from earlier, like anybody cares. And they also say, yep, now you can vote on the app for the stipulation for Ambrose and Rollins. And then we get hyped for that 6-man tag match that I talked about earlier. Reigns and RVD and Sheamus versus Orton and Ryback. Okay. And then Ziggler's music hits, and he comes out with the Intercontinental title. And then they cut to a commercial break. And then The Miz comes out to no reaction, and we get the big match introductions for the title match. And we get the match between these two. Now, this match really disappointed me. Immediately there's a Let's Go Ziggler chant, but what ends up happening is, let's see, Ziggler had sent Miz into the ropes, and as Miz was coming back, Ziggler does, the leapfrog spot, where you leapfrog over him. As he was coming down for the landing for that, he tweaks his knee and he goes down in a crumpled heap. His fucking knee is fucked all of a sudden. Apparently he had tweaked it last night during the match. I never noticed it, but whatever. So yeah, Ziggler's knee is hurt. Miz spends the next rest of the match working on Ziggler's knee. He drags Ziggler over to the corner and he wraps his leg around the corner post. Commercial break. Miz goes for his running from corner to corner clothesline spot, but as Miz comes running across, Ziggler jumps out of the corner, jumps up, grabs Miz by the head for that leaping DDT, and he plants him with it. Miz is able to lock in the figure 4, but Ziggler makes it to the ropes. Oh yeah. And then we get the finish of the match. They had spilled out to the outside, and so the ref was counting. Miz ends up back in the ring. Ziggler tries to get back up on the apron, but Miz, I don't remember what it was. He came out to the apron, and Ziggler jumps back and super kicks Miz in the face, and Ziggler falls to the floor, and I think Miz just fell into the ring. And the referee's been counting this whole time. And so Ziggler hits the floor, referee gets to 10, and Ziggler's been counted out. So Miz wins by countout, but Roberts, the ring announcer, has to announce, but Ziggler is still the Intercontinental Champion because, of course, you can't win the title on a countout. And so Miz is pissed off. He goes out of the ring and he attacks Ziggler and smacks him up against the commentary table, yada yada, throws him back into the ring, and I don't remember what Miz was going for, but Ziggler counted out of it and hits the zigzag. And so, yeah, Ziggler gets his heat back, whatever you want to call it. He leaves with the belt, still limping, of course, and I think even the referee was kind of helping him. We cut backstage again to Renee Young, who's once again in the interview area, and her guest this time is Jack Swagger, with no Zeb Coulter, because Coulter is selling getting his face kicked in by Rusev last night. First, we show a picture recap of the fucking Summerslam match between Swagger and Rusev. And then they also show the video clip of Zeb getting kicked in the face. And Swagger cuts a promo saying that he failed, he let everybody down, and he feels like shit about it, but I'm gonna keep fighting because that's what, real Americans do, And that's what We the People is. And he does a We the People, and that's the end of it. Oh, and as soon as he finishes the promo, his music starts playing. And then we cut to the arena, Swagger comes out. So he immediately comes out and cuts to a commercial break. And when we come back from the commercial break, Cesaro is already in the ring. So yeah, he gets jobber entranced. Swagger still has his ribs taped up, by the way. And of course, Cesaro works the ribs during the match. Let's see. There was a strange spot. I believe it was Swagger was out on the apron. And Cesaro grabbed him by the arm and did like a hip toss. You know how you normally do like a hip toss? Only he lifts Swagger up and drops him gut first across the turnbuckle. Not the pad itself, but the big metal twist bar thingy that connects it to the post, So, of course, still working the ribs. Swagger staggered backwards on the apron from that. Cesaro, I think, went for a big boot to kick Swagger off the apron. But Swagger catches him by the foot, puts him into the Patriot Lock while he's on the apron. And, of course, they're in the ropes, so the referee's like, okay, you gotta get off the ropes, and he's counting. Swagger breaks it up, but he gets back in the ring, and he locks the Patriot Lock in again. And Cesaro is able to get to the ropes. And I don't know what the fuck, but almost immediately, Cesaro hits the neutralizer. And he gets the win. And so I'm like, well, yay for Cesaro winning, but what the fuck was Swagger? Cesaro fucks off. And then Bo Dallas's music hits. And he comes out to the stage and cuts a promo on Swagger about how many people were let down by Swagger losing. Something like 318 million. I guess that's the population of the United States. And I'm thinking, okay, first of all, no, because not all of those people actually watch the WWE. Because not all of those people are wrestling fans. Bo said the number 318, and I'm like, oh, is that the number of times I want to punch you in the fucking face, you fucking troll? Whatever. He says Swagger lost his... He lost his manager, he lost his confidence, all this and that. But you can get it all back. All you gotta do is believe. And I'm thinking, shut the fuck up, you frog-faced tool. You and your brother can go fuck each other. You both suck. Fuck off. And yeah, I'm talking about Bray, his brother. Fuck off. Speaking of, after that dog shit, we get the picture recap from the Bray and Y2J match from last night. And we cut back to Renee Young once again in the interview area with Y2J. And he cuts a promo, basically putting over Bray, and then he says, but there's 3 things I have that Bray Wyatt will never have. And one was some sort of passion and some sort of thingamajig, and then he said, and I also have my fans. The Jerichoholics. Whatever. Who gives a shit? More hype for the 6-man tag match, which is going to be next, and then we cut to a commercial break. Coming back from the commercial, they announce that tomorrow night on Main Event, we're going to see The Big Show versus Eric Rowan. Don't care. The fucking tag match earlier was shit because it was nothing but 4 hosses. I can't imagine this being any better. Moving on. Cutting back to the arena, Orton's music hits, and he comes out to his usual no reaction. And Rybaxel are already in the ring. Picture recap from the Summerslam match between Orton and Reigns. Sheamus' music hits and he comes out, and then RVD comes out, and then Roman Reigns comes out. Can you tell I'm trying to blow through this shit as quickly as possible? Yeah. We get the fucking match between these guys. Match was okay, I guess. There was a commercial break. Sheamus does his clubbing on Axel and then on Ryback. And then, Randy picked somebody up and did his belly-to-back suplex thing. He's been slamming people. I think he slammed Sheamus back first onto the barricade over by the Timekeeper's area. And so he goes tumbling ass over tea kettle into the Timekeeper's area. The people start chanting for Ryback, and I'm wondering, why the fuck are they chanting for this guy? And then I remembered, oh yeah, they're in Vegas. That's his hometown. You know, people, you really should recognize that your hometown boy is a piece of shit. He's a hoss. Anyways, Roman gets tagged in. He hits his apron dropkick on Axel, and then he hits the Superman punch on Axel, and then on Ryback. And he's getting ready to go for the spear. Randy jumps in behind him and does his little neck and backbreaker thingy. And that stops Roman. Roman, after taking the neck and backbreaker thingy, he stumbles forward and falls into his corner where RVD is able to tag himself in. He comes in, and we get a big clusterfuck to end the match. Sheamus hits the brogue kick on Ryback, and then Randy hits the RKO on Sheamus, and then Randy took an enziguri that led into Roman hitting the fucking spear on Randy to get rid of him, and that leaves Axel and RVD in the ring. And oh yeah, somebody took out Reigns, and then RVD took them out, whoever the fuck it was. But that left RVD and Axel in the ring. Rob hits the 5-star frog splash and gets the win. So Sheamus, RVD, and Reigns win. Like I said, it was an okay match. I don't really fucking care. We get a recap from Ambrose and Rollins from earlier. What? It's for charity. Bah! That was fucking great. That was about the only fucking good part about this show, I swear. Well, can't really say that. Anyways, more shit about voting on the app for the stipulation. We cut to a commercial break. Coming back from the break, there's Randy backstage in one of the backstage areas. And up comes Ric Flair. He tries to say something to Randy, but Randy's just like, shut up, I don't care about you, I don't need your advice, and if you don't want to find out why they used to call me the Legend Killer, you need to fuck off or some shit. Moving on, we get the Wyatt cut. And this cuts to Bray cutting a stupid promo on the Titantron. He says that he has no soul and to follow the buzzards, and it cuts away. I don't care about his damn promos anymore. I don't care. I never cared. I don't fucking care! Bray, you fat, scraggly beard, ugly tattooed, Charles Manson ripoff. You're not even that good of a wrestler. And your promos are stupid. Fuck you. Take your dumbass to the mental ward where you belong. We've already got one psychopath named Dean Ambrose, and he's way better at it than you are. Moving on, cutting back to the arena, the Usos come out, and it didn't sound like they got much of a reaction. Commercial break. Coming back, we get another recap of the Bellas shit from earlier, again. And when we come back to the arena, Goldust and Stardust are already coming out. It's finally time for Goldust and Stardust to maybe get a shot at the tag team champions. This was not a title match, but we get the Usos versus the Dust Brothers. Boring match. I didn't even take any real notes aside from the finish, which was Stardust was in there with one of the Usos. Can't remember which one it was because they're twins and I can't fucking tell them apart. Let's see. What was it? The Uso was doing something to Cody. lifted him up, and Cody basically got a sunset flip on him and held him down for the 1, 2, 3. So we can't get like a real good victory with a finisher or anything. No, a cheap sunset flip roll-up win, basically. Who cares? Moving on. More shit about the app vote, and then they cut to another commercial. And coming back from the commercial, they announce Rob Van Dam versus Randy Orton for SmackDown this Friday. And then Rusev's dog shit music hits, and he comes out with Lana to no fucking reaction. And again, we get a picture recap of the shit between him and Swagger last night. The two of them are in the ring. Lana cuts a promo talking about Putin, who gives a fuck, and then all of a sudden Mark Henry's music hits. And I'm thinking, you just wrestled earlier, what the fuck are you doing coming out? He comes out, there's a big USA chant, and Mark starts talking. And he cuts a promo talking about, I'm proud to be an American, I'm proud of the fact that I got to represent this country twice in the Olympics and all this. And he's really sick of hearing Lana and Rusev shit all over America, this and that. I'm going to give you a private tour of the Hall of Pain. He's talking to Rusev. Another big USA chant. It looked like Rusev was going to back down, but then he starts trying to whack Henry, and they fight, and let's see, I think Rusev went for his super kick, but Henry just kind of swatted it away, or just hit him in the leg, and of course Rusev's selling his leg because it's the same one with the hurt ankle from last night. Henry grabs Rusev up, hits the world's strongest slam on him. Another big USA chant. Henry's looking down at him. He hits the ropes and comes and does the world's strongest splash. And then they cut to a commercial break. And I'm thinking, so wait, we go through a couple of month-long feud between Swagger and Rusev. And Swagger gets just completely beaten at every chance. And I'm guessing last night was the blow-off. And now we're just going to put Rusev in a feud with Mark Henry? So what the fuck was the point of the feud between Rusev and Swagger? There was no point. Stupid as shit. Anyways, coming back from the commercial break, we get a recap of Heyman's promo from the beginning, or from the earlier in the show. And the commentators announced that next week on Raw, which is going to be in Anaheim, California, by the way, but next week on Raw, John Cena will address the WWE Universe. Moving on. Cutting back into the arena, Jerry Lawler is in the fucking ring, like always, for the app results. And we find out that the results of the app vote, we got like a 41%, I guess, majority for the Falls Count Anywhere match. So whatever. Ambrose's music hits and he comes out, and then Rollins' crappy music hits and he comes out to his usual no reaction. And we get the match between these guys. And they start off just hammering on each other. And they spill out to the outside and they brawl off into the crowd for a bit. And I think Ambrose went for a pin, but only got like a 2 count, whatever the fuck. They fight their way around up onto the stage. And Ambrose goes to suplex Rollins, but Rollins counters it. He goes to powerbomb Ambrose, but Ambrose gets out of it. And then he grabs Rollins again, and he's finally able to suplex him on the stage. Went for a cover, only got 2. They go back to the ring. Ambrose gets a chair and uses it a few times. And then he gets Rollins down in the ring. And Ambrose goes up to the second turnbuckle with one of the chairs. And he's got it under his arm, and he jumps off and slams the chair on Rollins, the Cactus Jack spot, Only, Foley would usually jump off the apron and land on somebody who was on the floor, but it's still basically the same spot. Ambrose wedges the chair into the corner, And then he goes to throw Rollins into that corner, but Rollins reverses it, and so Ambrose eats the damn chair. Commercial break, coming back, somebody had fetched a kendo stick, and Rollins had it in Ambrose's mouth, basically doing like a sort of like a chin locker kind of thing with it, where he's pulling back on the stick as it's in Ambrose's mouth. Either way, whatever. Seth hits Ambrose and he stumbles backwards, teeters through the ropes, but as he comes back, Rollins, I think, ducked the clothesline and then jumps and does his Pele kick and nails Ambrose in the head. Later on, Ambrose hits his Tornado DDT on Rollins. He goes for the dirty deeds, but Rollins gets out of it, blocks it somehow. And then the two of them hit the ropes, opposite ropes, and they come back and they both go for a crossbody, and they do that spot where they both collide in midair. And I just hate that spot because it's just like, Christ, you just knock the wind out of yourselves when you do that spot. More stuff with the kendo stick. Ambrose does the White Russian leg sweep. The kendo stick assisted Russian leg sweep. Ambrose goes out of the ring, goes underneath the ring, and just grabs out like 6 or 7 chairs. He does the big pile in the middle of the ring. And of course we know where we're going with this. Ambrose sets Rollins up in the corner to go for the big superplex. Well, the chairs are too far back. Rollins fights him off. And Rollins gets Ambrose down, sunset flips him out of the corner, gets him on his shoulders, has to take a couple of steps forward, and then jumps and sits out. So like jumping Batista bomb, sunset flip, jumping Batista bomb onto the chairs. But Ambrose kicks out at 2. And then all of a sudden the camera looks over at the timekeeper area. There's Kane. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Yeah, just ruin the match. And that's what happened. This match was on its way to being a great fucking match. And of course, Kane has to get involved and fucking ruin it. At first, Rollins is like, I got this, just sit back and watch, bro. He goes under the ring, grabs a table out, because the crowd had been chanting for it for like the past 5 minutes. Rollins gets the table, gets it in the ring. He has to hit Ambrose across the back with the kendo stick to keep him down. But then Rollins sets the table up towards one of the corners. And he grabs Ambrose up and he takes him over to the table and he puts him face down on the table, kind of leaning up against it. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here? He goes up to the top rope and I'm like, oh, you can't be that stupid. He was going to go for the blackout through the table, face first. Obviously, this doesn't work. Ambrose jumps up, hits Rollins, and nuts him on the fucking top turnbuckle. And Ambrose superplexes Rollins through the table. And, let's see, after the superplex, Ambrose is trying to crawl through the wreckage of the damn table to cover Rollins, but I don't know. I think he covered him and only got a 2. I don't know. But Kane jumps up on the apron. Ambrose runs over and hits him to knock him off the apron. Then he turns around and he grabs Rollins and throws him out of the ring too. Ambrose runs across, hits the ropes, suicide dive out of the ring on top of both of them. Him and Seth end up back in the ring, and Ambrose is able to hit his teeter clothesline thing. And then he grabs Rollins and he hits the dirty deeds on him and fucking plants him on his head. He goes for the cover. Kane reaches through the ropes, grabs Ambrose by the leg, and yanks him out of the ring. And he starts trying to beat up Ambrose. Well, Ambrose counters it. Let's see. Kane had tried to throw Ambrose into the ringside steps. Dean stops himself on him. He turns around, and as Kane comes running, drop toe holds him, and Kane goes face first into the steps. Yada yada, there was some more shit. Ambrose ends up on top of one of the commentary tables, and Rollins wound up thrown over the barricade into the crowd. And so Ambrose runs across the two commentary tables and dives onto Seth, who's in the crowd. The crowd starts chanting, "This is awesome." There was a nut. Oh no. Okay, no. Right. Afterwards, I think Rollins started comeback. They got back to ringside over by the commentary table. Or no. Ambrose was still in control. He clears off the commentary table. And he gets Rollins up on the table, and he goes for the dirty deeds. Oh yeah, Kane had been wiped out over on the other side of the table, by the way, so he was right there. And of course, Kane gets up, grabs Ambrose by the throat to break up the dirty deeds. Rollins, of course, jumps away. Kane lifts Ambrose up, brings him back down to the floor, and then lifts him up again and chokeslams him on the table, but the table didn't fucking break. I don't think it was supposed to. Kane then holds Ambrose down face first on the table, while Rollins comes running from the other announce table, jumps up and does the blackout stomp to stomp Ambrose's face into the table. Tables still don't break. And so Ambrose is like fucking out basically at this point. Kane goes over, and I think he picked up the timekeeper's table, you know, the table that they have that has the bell on it. Kane picks this table up and just throws it aside, and underneath it, there's a pile of cinder blocks. Gray concrete cinder blocks. And the commentators are like, oh shit, this is not going to end very well. Kane grabs Ambrose and holds him down face first on the cinder blocks. Rollins jumps off the commentary table, blackout on Ambrose through the cinder blocks, because yeah, they broke. Ambrose is out. The referee is like, oh no, fuck this, and he calls for the bell. And I even heard him say to Rollins, you went too far. So, ding, 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 the bell rings, match is over, and Justin Roberts announces, ladies and gentlemen, the referee has stopped this match, and so your winner, Seth Rollins. So Rollins wins. And him and Kane are standing there. Ambrose is done. He's out. He didn't move, like, at all after that blackout through the cinder blocks. And Rollins is staring down at him, and I'm thinking this whole time during this beatdown, where was Roman Reigns to help out his former brother of the Shield? Because, you know, they already showed that him and Ambrose were still friends. You know? Ambrose didn't turn on Roman. Roman didn't turn on Ambrose. It was just Seth that turned on the two of them. So why didn't Roman come out? So eventually some EMTs come out to help Ambrose, and the crowd's dead. They can't believe this shit. That's where the show ends. Yeah, that was the end of the show. I thought they had cut to commercial, but no, that was the end of the show. And so, yay, the bad guys win. No repercussions for being bad guys. And the WWE is telling us, you want hope? Fuck you. No hope for us. Fucking hate this goddamn company. There is no hope for this fucking company. You have Brock Lesnar at champion. Who the fuck is gonna beat him? Cena's gone. Okay, silver lining. He probably won't be gone for long. Ambrose, they basically just killed him off. I don't know what the fuck, how he's gonna come back from this. The stupid shit with the Bellas. Nobody fucking cares. Yeah, so like I said, that was the end of the show. As always, let's go back over the matches again. And I'm just going to try to wrap this up because I rented a copy of the Kingdom Hearts 1.5 HD remix, and I was in the middle of playing that. And I'd really like to get back to that because that's a hell of a lot more fun than this bullshit. Guys should feel lucky because I actually had a friend over for about the first 2 hours of Raw, and it really helped. You know, me and him just kind of making jokes and shit. So yeah, going back over the matches. We got Big Show and Mark Henry basically squashing Harper and Rowan, the Wyatt family. Crappy match. We got Natalya defeating Paige in another crappy match with another crappy roll-up finish, just to keep the stupid feud going between AJ and Paige. And it's not even a stupid feud. It's just them using these stupid, crappy things to keep it going. Christ. We got a rematch of the Intercontinental title match from the pay-per-view last night. The Miz wins by countout because Ziggler's leg was fucked up, apparently. And then Cesaro beats Jack Swagger in an okay match. The Miz and Ziggler was okay as well. And then Sheamus, Rob Van Dam, and Roman Reigns defeat Randy Orton and Ryback in another okay match. And then the Dust Brothers, Stardust and Goldust, defeat the Usos in a boring match. And then in the main event, Seth Rollins somehow wins the Falls Count Anywhere match against Dean Ambrose. Yeah, so Raw was not really that good tonight. Fuck the Bellas, fuck Stephanie, fuck Triple H, fuck Brock Lesnar, fuck Paul Heyman. Fuck the WWE. Fuck Seth Rollins and Kane. Fuck Randy Orton. Fuck Ryback. Fuck the Usos. Fuck Bo Dallas. Fuck Bray Wyatt. Fuck Rusev and Lana. Just fuck all of this shit. Where's the wrestling? I really doubt there was all that much wrestling on this show. Once again, somebody would have stopwatch. If you timed this shit, it probably wasn't more than, 30 minutes? Maybe at the most? Maybe 40? I doubt that much. Who gives a shit? Show's over. Ugh. Like I said, I'm gonna go play Kingdom Hearts. Fuck this show. Fuck the WWE. Thank you for watching the Wrestling Rant once again. This was Monday Night Raw from August 18th, 2014 in Las Vegas, Nevada, the night after the SummerSlam pay-per-view. Next week will be Raw in Anaheim, California. We got to get through SmackDown first. Who cares, though? We'll see you next time for that. Thank you for watching, and good night.